Hi, Mystery Recapped here. Today, I'm going to explain the horror thriller film called 30 Days of Night. Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie starts with a filthy-looking man, dressed in a furry coat, staring at a ship harboring to the shore. It's wintertime in Barrow, Alaska. Everyone in the town is preparing for the upcoming polar night, a month-long period where the sun does not rise. It is the last day before 30 long days of complete darkness begins. Barrow's sheriffs, Eben Olesen and Billy Kitka, are examining a pile of burnt satellite phones in the snow. As a result, the town doesn't have access to communication with the outside world. Most people in the town are leaving to avoid the 30 days of isolation, while others are preparing for it. After all, this sounds like child's play after what we've just been through. At a local dog kennel, someone gruesomely stabs all the dogs to death. Eben gets informed about the situation, and he agrees to check it out. Eben's wife, Stella, works for Alaska's fire department. She is in the town for the day, but hasn't told Eben because they're not on good terms. However, on her way to catch a flight home, she gets into an accident, so she calls Eben for help. However, Eben replies that he is busy and sends Billy instead. At the kennel, as Eben examines the dead dogs, he notices that the dogs were stabbed repeatedly and mutilated. He then reassures the owner John Reese that they will find the culprit. Meanwhile, Billy drives Stella to the airport as fast as possible, but the flight has already taken off and the airport is closed. She is now stuck in the town for the next 30 days as well. Eben goes to the police station where he meets his little brother, Jake Olesen, and his grandmother, Helen Munson, who works in the station as well. She informs him about a vandalism problem at the Utilidor. As Eben reaches Utilidor, he meets his friends Carter and Wilson. He finds out that someone has destroyed Wilson's helicopter. Eben quickly realizes that someone is trying to cut off every means of communication with the outside world. Elsewhere, the town's electrical manager, Gus, is busy working at his station when he hears noises from outside. As he steps outside to investigate with his torch, he is surrounded by several mysterious figures. He tries to run away, but he is attacked. The strangers slowly kill him while sucking his blood. It is then revealed that the strangers are vampires who plan to feast on Barrow for the next 30 days. The filthy man from the beginning of the movie is in a diner asking for raw meat and alcohol. When the waitress denies his requests, he tries to attack her. Eben and Stella are there too. As Eben tries to stop the man, he gets progressively more violent, so he arrests him. Eben, along with Stella, then take the man to the station and lock him up. Elsewhere, 3 young refinery workers are walking home from work. As they are on their way home, a vampire suddenly drags one of them into a dark alley. The other 2 don't realize what has happened. After a few seconds, the bloody body of their friend is thrown in front of them. The girl runs for her life, while the shocked man stares at his friend's body. As he does, we see the vampires behind him. Back at the station, Eben is trying to interrogate the strange man, but he doesn't speak at all. Suddenly, all the electronics in the station stop working. Eben tries to call Gus, but the phone doesn't work either. The strange man in the cell tells Eben to hide because they are coming. However, Eben dismisses him. Right after, the town's electricity goes off. Eben visits Gus's office to inquire about the electricity. When he reaches there, he notices a trail of blood on the snow outside. He then follows the trail to find Gus's head cut off from his body. He immediately gets back to the people of the town and warns them to stay inside their homes. John and his wife, Allie, are indoors cooking dinner when suddenly a vampire breaks in through the kitchen's glass window. I guess staying inside isn't a very good tactic. The vampire then snatches Allie and runs away. That vampire is all kinds of thirsty. John tries his best to save his wife and is injured in the process. In the end, the vampire takes her away. Back at the station, the man attacks Jake. Eben comes in at the right time and shoots his arm. Eben realizes that the man knows something about Gus's murder, but the man doesn't reveal anything. After that, Eben and Stella set off to look for the murderers themselves. They notice something off in the way and get out of their car. Stella sees something through her binoculars and tells Eben to get back in the car. As they drive away, a vampire chases the car and gets on top of it. Eben shoots the vampire, but it doesn't affect him. Stella somehow manages to drop him off the vehicle, and they escape. They then get a call from the station. Helen screams for help on the other end. They drive to the station to see blood splashed everywhere. Jake and Helen are nowhere to be found, but the stranger is still inside the cell. When asked what happened, he replies that they don't want him and asks Eben to kill him. A few people gather at the diner, and they discuss that the vampires don't die when they get shot. It is also revealed that they feed off of blood. Who would have thought? Then we finally see the faces of the vampires. Their leader is named Marlowe. He talks in a foreign language and orders the others to kill everyone. Following the orders, the vampires start killing everyone who comes in their way. Eben and Stella rush to the diner from earlier to investigate. Jake and the other survivors are there too. However, Helen was killed by one of them. Eben takes everyone to the attic of a house nearby. As the rest hide, he and Stella go out to look for weapons, but they are attacked by the vampires again. They flip Eben's car and try to drag Stella out. Right when the vampires are about to kill Stella, a bearded man named Brower comes to their aid and hits the vampires with his bulldozer. Eben and Stella somehow manage to get in Brower's car and drive away. They drive back to the house and meet the others in the attic. They hear the screams of people being killed outside, but do not dare to leave. Eben advises they can go to the store to get something to eat after a few days. They plan to stay in the attic for some time and move to the Utilidor when they get a chance. Meanwhile, Marlowe walks up to the stranger in the cell and thanks him for completing the task. He then snaps his head and kills him. Back in the attic, they decide to sleep in shifts, ration out their food, and plan their next step later. For 6 days, they remain hidden in the attic. On the 7th day, they notice a girl outside screaming for help. The girl is Jake's childhood best friend. Eben realizes that it is a trap when he sees the vampires on top of the roofs. Still, he goes outside to save her, but can only watch her being tortured and eventually killed by the vampires. As he is about to return, someone calls his name, and he notices John hiding in a corner. Eben tries to help John, but he attacks him instead. John has turned into a vampire because his blood got infected while he was trying to save his wife. John tries to bite Eben. Knowing that there is no other way to save John, Eben chops his head off with an axe. Eben then goes back to the attic and falls asleep due to exhaustion. There, Wilson's father, who has dementia, tries to run away looking for his dead wife. Wilson and Stella calm him down, but the old man escapes through a window. When Wilson finds out, he immediately runs outside to search for him, despite Stella's pleas to stay inside. Eben wakes up from all the commotion. Suddenly, a vampire comes inside the house, and Eben and Stella hide from him. As the vampire is about to get them, Wilson's scream distracts him. The vampire finds Wilson outside the house and eventually kills him. This gives Eben and Stella an opportunity to go back into the attic. 18 days have passed in the attic. They have no food left, and everyone's will to live is weakening. They decide that on the very next hailstorm, they will make a run for the store. Fortunately, on the 19th day, a snowstorm strikes. They carefully walk towards the store. When they reach there, they collect food and supplies. Just then, they see a little girl sucking the blood out of a dead body. The little girl attacks Carter. Brower, Stella, and Eben get her away from him, and Jake cuts the little girl's head off. The storm has already stopped when they are ready to leave. Now they are stranded in the store. They decide to go to the utility in the police station, where they can be safe. Stella says that the vampires cannot function in sunlight. That is why they have attacked during the polar night. This reminds Jake of a UV light that his grandmother used to grow plants. Eben decides to run to his grandmother's house to distract the vampires and use the UV light to kill them while others escape to the utility. He then runs out screaming with an axe. The vampires hear his screams and run after him. Others run to the police station to hide in the utility room. Elsewhere, Eben starts a generator in his grandmother's house. He then gets prepared for the vampires with the UV light. The group of vampires surround the house. Marlowe orders his girlfriend, Iris, who is also a vampire, to kill Eben. However, as Iris breaks through the window inside the house, Eben shines the UV ray on her face, burning it completely. Eben then realizes the vampires are going to turn the generator off. He makes his escape from the back door. All the vampires go after him, but Marlowe stays with a struggling Iris. He then kills her to get rid of the pain. Brower then tells Eben that it's his turn to distract them now. He gets into a bulldozer and attacks the vampires chasing Eben. After a small fight, he runs the bulldozer into a building and gets all the vampires to come inside. He then proceeds to light himself up in an explosion. Fortunately, Eben reaches the police station safely. There, he finds out that Carter was bit by a vampire and is turning into one of them. With no other way out, Carter suggests Eben kill him. They both go into a room where Eben cuts his head off. Only 5 of them are left, but survival looks possible now. It is the 27th day. They have enough food to survive for the next few days until the sun rises again. Suddenly, they notice someone from the house across, trying to send them a signal by flashing a light. Eben assumes that someone is trapped there. He and Stella go to save them. They are shocked to see Billy. It is revealed that with no hope left, Billy killed his 2 daughters and wife. When he was about to end his own life, his gun stopped working. After berating Billy for not saving his family, they cautiously take him to their hideout. But when they reach there, they find out that everyone else is missing. Assuming they might have gone to the utility, the trio head there as well. When they are halfway there, Stella notices a little girl roaming around in the snow. A vampire is about to attack her from behind. Although Eben tells her to ignore the little girl, Stella can't stop herself and rushes to help. The vampire then follows them. Eben tells Stella and Billy to run away with the little girl while he distracts the vampire. All 3 of them run away in different directions. Eben somehow makes it to the utility, but finds Stella and Billy missing. Billy finally reaches the utility, but a vampire gets in as well. He attacks Billy and bites him in the neck. After a long struggle, the 2 men finally kill the vampire by pushing him into the meat grinder, but in the process, Billy's hand gets accidentally ripped off too. Billy has incredibly bad luck. Eben then notices that Billy has been bitten, so he reluctantly cuts off his friend's head with an axe. It is the last night of the 30th day now. If they can survive this night, they will be free tomorrow. Other people from the group start celebrating, while Eben sees Marlowe and his fellow vampires gathering through a window. Marlowe tells his fellow vampires that the only reason they have been able to survive this long is because they don't leave evidence of their work behind. He then orders them to burn the whole town to the ground. Just when Eben thinks his wife is dead, she communicates through a walkie-talkie and informs him that she is hiding under a car in the snow. Eben promises her that they will watch the sunrise together. He notices the car, but the vampires have already broken all the oil pipelines of the town. The oil is slowly filling up the streets and moving towards the car that Stella and the little girl are hiding under. Eben realizes there is no way to save her now. If she runs, they will kill her. If she stays, she will burn. The vampires light the fire, and slowly, it starts to take the whole town with it. With no options left, he takes some of Billy's blood out through a syringe and injects it into himself. He knows that this will turn him into a vampire. His friends watch helplessly as he transforms. He is now a threat to others in the group, so they decide to kill him. However, his brother Jake stops them. Eben then says his goodbyes to his brother and goes out to fight Marlowe. After a long struggle, Eben finally manages to kill Marlowe by jamming his hand through Marlowe's head. The other vampires see their leader dead and run away. Finally, the sun rises and everyone comes out. Stella and Eben watch the sunrise together. They share one last kiss, which is sweet but seems kinda risky. The story ends when the rays of the sun fall onto Eben's body. He starts to burn and eventually dies in Stella's arms. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.